All right, cool. Welcome, Mart-Marie.
Thanks.
Awesome to be chatting with you. So basically, you guys have a pretty big nursery setup, and you're currently selling wholesale to other nurseries.
Yes. Yeah, so we sell to retail nurseries as well as plant brokers and landscapers. So we don't sell directly to the homeowner or the garden enthusiast at the moment, and that is basically the market that we want to target with the website.
Cool. Why do you feel you want to move in that direction? Is it a case of you feel you've kind of maximized where you're at the moment?
Yeah, so we have gained all the not all the landscapers, but quite a few. We're still working on landscaping as well, but all the retailers are basically on board and buying from us. Or yeah, so
Okay.
in a way, we need to start to look in different directions in broadening our income, if I can put it that way. And we also realized that with the younger generation growing up, they don't go to nurseries anymore. They don't go for relaxation and sit for a Saturday afternoon in a coffee shop at the garden center and then buy plants. They would rather have a beer at home and do but they want their garden to be pretty because they've got friends over, so they'd go online and go and buy stuff. So I think
that's very interesting. Yeah, because Travis and I had a little pre-chat, and one of the things we were kind of discussing is what is that looking like at the moment in terms of, because for a lot of people and you know, going to the nursery is more of an experience of going and buying and choosing, and kind of what you're saying here is you're noticing a trend. The younger generation is actually, it's that instantaneous, I want to get what I want, and I want my house to look pretty quickly.
Yes. Yeah. Sure. And I don't want to take the time to drive to Broadacres and go and spend the afternoon listening to someone telling me which plants is gonna look nice and waste my time.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Cool. So your question here really is you wanted to know kind of what to do with the name. So you've got Greenline Wholesale Nursery. You want to know what to do with the name. Do you keep that name? Do you keep, you know, is it the same website? Is it the same? It's essentially the same company, but what do you do in terms of the name and how you identify this? And then the other thing I picked up was really, in doing this whole thing, you have great relationships with your current clients, and in a way you don't want to upset that, and you don't want to impact them negatively in
yes,
doing.
That's true.
No. All right. So yeah.
We've had an instance, or that I personally know of, where the wholesaler had a retail nursery as well. Okay, it was open to the public on their premises, and just fence away they had the wholesale nursery, and the prices were so competitive that the retailers stopped buying from them because they felt like, but they're killing us, if I can put it that way. So we're not gonna support you buying wholesale from you because you're now selling your plants for less than I can sell it to the public. So that is one of our big concerns if we keep the name the same and we keep the same website.
Look, yeah, all right. I believe in you know, trust and transparency as far as possible. You know, you really want to play open cards and be able to play open cards and not feel you're running something on the side and never want people to kind of find out in that way. So one way is having recommended retail pricing. And I think we'll get into it just now, is how you sell what you sell is important, but you would really want to have a sort of a benchmark for your retail prices that you're kind of sticking to and setting, and they've got to, and if anyone's reselling your plants, this is what we recommend you sell them at. And you're not really selling them cheaper than what they are. So I pick up that you're able to possibly sell them a lot cheaper, but I think you would need to really give that pricing strategy some thought. But we can get back to that. I think the big thing here is identifying firstly, because a name is strategic, right? You
Yes.
go for a name because there's strategy behind it. So I think for us to first identify who it is you want to be selling to in terms of retail online, who is this market, where are they? Because that'll help you decide what range of plants you're going to be selling, how you're going to be selling them. And it might end up very different to even coming anywhere near competing with any of your current customers as such.
Yeah.
So I don't know, who do you envisage really actually selling it to? Is it, what are they looking for? What kind of plant products and stuff did you think to be selling?
So we basically wanted to put all our plants that we grow on the wholesale on the website, but we have a page on the website that tells you more about the plant. And if you have a question like, my plant doesn't grow in the shade or something, they can ask questions regarding it and we can answer it. So we offer like a service on top of just buying the plants. We also offer a service with real plant knowledge, if I can put it that way.
Yeah.
And then we want to expand in selling pots, and we've got our own like bag, like it's like a pot. You put your plant with a pot inside it, and then it already looks pretty, and you can just put it on your table. So we want to do that ready to use sell as well, because that is what the customers also want, or what I would think they want. For the, how can I put it, the flat owner or the guy that doesn't have a nursery. So usually he would go and buy something from Checkers or Woolworths, but now he can get the real plant, or not that the other ones are not real, but a plant with the real knowledge and the right plant for the right space on the website, and they don't have to in 3 months' time buy a new one because it died, because it's not really an indoor plant.
Okay, so there's a bit of the value you also adding is really the knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a question for you, Mart-Marie, and that is, since you're in the industry, in the nursery and plant industry, do you know of a business or maybe a competitor who is selling online that you know that is their main target audience, is like their online market? Have you heard of people doing this and it's, successful? Or
Melansians has started with it. How successful it is, I don't know. They do it under their retail nursery. So they have Melansians wholesale nursery, and then they've got their plant lands that sells to the public. That's their retail nurseries. And then there's a nursery in Cape Town that it also does it, but they only deliver in that region. And then there was one of my retail customers that contacted me and asked if we would be interested in supplying the online store for selling plants. So it is a trend going in that area, but I don't know how successful they are, because it's really new for everyone. Melansians started with their online shop just after lockdown. And the guy in Cape Town is doing it for a while now. He actually started also in lockdown, but I think he was already busy with it before lockdown in 2020, because he started like in the first month of lockdown, he started selling online. So I think he would be at the longest trial period. Yeah.
Okay.
But there's not a lot of guys that really has a website where you can purchase on website. A lot of the land wholesalers has got a website where you can look at the plants and you can request the availability list, and then you can order on email or go and see the plants at the nursery. but they usually only operate with landscapers and brokers. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I think because I think I fall into the category that you're talking about, where I don't really, I want my garden to look nice, but I don't necessarily go to a nursery to look at plants, partly because I don't actually know what I should be looking at. And
Yeah.
so I think that service that you have there, where someone can actually guide me through a process of, okay, tell me a little bit about your garden. Is it very sunny or is it very shady? You
Yeah.
know, how big is it? Stuff like that. And then actually
Yes.
lead me to a place where it's like, look, you like a nice garden, but you don't have green thumbs, so you're going to want a hardy plant, or like, and then this is what you need to buy. So
Yeah.
I was almost thinking now while you were chatting, and not to derail the ideas of conversation, but I've been seeing a trend where people use their website to sell products like plants or
Yes.
whatever, but they also have a way for someone to book a consultation call with them. So, for example, on the website, let's say I'm interested, but I still have no idea what I should be buying. Then someone can actually click book a consultation. It can be a short one. Doesn't have to be a long, lengthy thing.
Yes.
10, 15 minutes at most, where you can actually chat with a person on screen, or if they're in the Pretoria area, they can come to you, and then you
Yeah.
can actually walk them through, ask them questions, and I've seen that sales generally improve and go up versus someone who's shopping online that has no way of contacting easily the person behind the computer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just a thought that I had while you
I
were
think
chatting.
it's a brilliant idea. When I started thinking of the website in 2020, I actually thought of having a landscape page where you can actually ask us to design your garden for you. You upload your plan of your garden or photos of your garden, and then we do a design and we recommend the plants that you need to plant in there for the right areas and everything. When I spoke to Andre about it, because he's the landscaper, I'm the grower, so I just grow the plants. So he told me that at that stage he's not comfortable doing it. He's not as technology driven as I am, for instance. So he's scared of technology. If I ask him to do something on the computer, it will take him ages. But and Zoom meetings and stuff like that is just not his scene. So he didn't feel comfortable with having a customer meeting. And at that stage, he was the only rep for the company. So he didn't have the time to go to a customer, go and see their garden, and then just give advice online. So we left it. But funny thing is, he actually the last few months he started bugging me that we need to get this website up and running, because he also noticed in the nurseries when he's there's not a lot of young people there that actually go and shop at the nurseries. So he was picking up as well. It's more from your 40s and older that still goes to the nursery, and we're going to lose that market eventually, and the younger guys are going to not go there, and then your sales are going to go down. So I think it's a very good idea for us to add that in on our website to give the guys the right advice. We've got the capacity now again, where we've got 2 reps, so he's going to have more time to go and see customers, and I think he's more open to actually have online meetings with some of the customers if you don't go to their places. So I think it is very good. I think we can do that.
So I think the management of that, especially if you start driving a lot of traffic to the site. Say you got 30,000 viewers in a month going on there, you're going to have 500 people wanting to chat. So I think to kind of commercialize that as far as possible, that like Travis said, there's like a bite-sized book, a 10-minute, or very, very, because in a way rather test with a sort of a shallower, less extensive communication thing, as opposed to, a whole garden design necessarily. But like, I just want to know what plants work in shade. I got this patch in my garden that so I think like bite-sized info and contact that's manageable, and maybe like largely asynchronous, meaning they can leave, if someone's not online, they can leave a message and they'll get a response in a couple hours to their specific thing, and you can link them through to the product on the site that you recommend will work. So to kind of answer your first question about the name, no, it doesn't need to be the same name. No, Greenline is not some established brand name established in the consumer's mind. Like, the average person walking around your target area does not possibly even have heard of Greenline. So I would really base it around what you want to sell. We looked at a few online sites. You've got like a Lifestyle Nursery doing kind of the whole nursery thing online as well. And then you've got a site like Plantify, I think, Trav. Plantify.
Yes.
And they're going a bit more niche. And I think where you might really think about testing first is the potted plants that are aesthetically pleasing. It's an all-in-one solution. This thing's going to be delivered for my flat in a beautiful plant. You'll also be generating more income and possibly a better profit margin on that total solution that comes with a little booklet on how to care for this thing, or it's whatever it is. It's a digital, he has a QR code on your tag. On our site will always be the latest information around this plant, for example. So you're building in that knowledge. So I would say the name strategy is really geared at something that's going to speak to that person. If it's the younger generation, I wouldn't worry much about your story as the nursery currently. Your story here, this is a new story in a way of why I should buy from you. What moves me to want to buy from this place? And it can be your story of, you saw this need. It's just a true story, and you've seen, and you wanted to make it accessible for people and younger people and people in urban environments to get hold of plants with the knowledge that backs it. So because there's a passion in the thing that is important in any story, and you guys are passionate about this, and if that comes across, we don't need to bore people about the wholesale nursery side and all that. Let them get straight to that beautiful thing that they want to buy, and people buy beautiful stuff. So I think maybe start a little bit smaller, because inventory managing, stock online, when like, start smaller and build up. Don't just put all your plant list on that site, and I think really get it that it's something people want to go to. And if I go on there and I see, these are the 10 top plants you guys recommend, and even bring a little bit of personal brand in. Mart-Marie, Andre recommend these. These are trending. These are the plants now that are working well, and going into winter, this. Showcase those products. Really, that's all that site needs to be about. And I want to know who these people are. Meet Andre, a little bit about Andre, book a consultation. But if you upfront the beauty of the thing and make it so simple, delivery, you've talked about a certain geographic delivery location, but nationwide, think about it, the shipping fees included in the price. Make it simple, 3-4 clicks, and I've checked out. And you want to build that retail sort of audience and database, that when you're running specials and you're doing seasonal stuff, you can easily get their attention. They've built the trust. They got great service. So I would. This is a super exciting opportunity in a way to not. Greenline sounds quite corporate in a way. It sounds big.
Yeah.
It sounds like we. And I think if it becomes more personal, you're going into people's personal spaces. If it's something from you as a person, without being building in too much emotional storytelling that's absolutely not needed. But person to person, that feel, so they're getting that whole knowledge nursery experience, but online, quick and easy, and they're going to get something beautiful.
Okay, that's good.
So yeah, I think starting a bit smaller. I'm not sure what you think, Trav.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Al. I think starting small is probably the way to go, because often you start something and then it pivots and then it becomes something else entirely. So you might end up focusing on succulents, just as an example. And then before you know it, you are selling, shrubberies and trees online. There's a market for trees specifically. It's just an example, but the point is, if you invest everything up front and you go, okay, let's be like lifestyle and let's just get our entire inventory online. Firstly, that's a huge undertaking. It's going to be very expensive. You can't get to market quickly, and it's going to take a lot to manage. Whereas, like using some of Al's suggestions that he mentioned, you can get something up and running relatively quickly, do it well so it looks and feels great, and then you can possibly perform these little experiments. Maybe a 10-minute consultation doesn't work, but maybe people do want to upload their images to their gardens and get some advice that way. The point is you can be flexible, and as we call in the tech industry, agile. You can move and flow as you need. And then, but I think it's great still to start now, because you can be one of the pioneers in South Africa. One of these green-thumbed pioneers going online. So I think that's great.
Sorry.
No.
There's just two other points I feel are important. The one being, if you compare apples with apples, then Johnny's apples are 5 Rand and Peter's apples are 6 Rand. Why Peter's apples 6 Rand? As soon as you go and put those plants in a beautiful pot and you're adding a little this and doing a little that, suddenly you're no longer a threat to your retail or wholesale, that relationship there. They're going online and they're going, okay, they're selling the same plant, but they're selling it in a pot and they're doing this and they're bundling them together and you buy. So you need to package and bundle value that becomes difficult to compare price. So there's no price war. You avoid price wars. You don't compete. You create something new and different. And that eliminates that whole pricing. If you're going to go, your entire inventory and you're going to sell online, then you're going to have to go the route of recommended retail pricing and govern that whole thing. And, whereas if you go smaller niche and create products that your retail customers are not selling because they're selling just the plant, but you're bundling extra value, then in a way, I don't think you're standing on anyone's toes. And you can open that discussion and you can even stock them with your full solution if they wanted to go that way. That was the one thing. And then the other thing is, I think it's very important to give some good thought to the user experience. So we touched on, design your own garden or have it designed. So up front, the beauty, make sure the beautiful end product is always there somewhere. But then it would be good to experiment with the customer journey. Are you looking for something outdoors or indoors? Without making it too complicated, but being aware of, you'll be very aware of what people's needs are. Are you looking, the shady spot stuff? Maybe it is, eventually you get to a point where they can lay out their garden and all the little tools and stuff like that. So I think conceptually, think about that journey, that it can make it as interesting and as user-friendly as possible. And maybe you're not going to be there right away because it can take time and money to develop something. But if you've got a kind of a goal, and as you get a feel for the market and how they're buying on your shop, you go like, okay, cool, let's make it easier now for them. We need to ask this question up front so that they can much more quickly get to their solution. Instead of just loading them with, what am I looking at? what are you looking for? I'm looking for something indoors. Cool. And you cut a whole lot of navigation out there. So I think that user experience is good. And if you're not going to get there to start, that's great, but at least you're thinking of that. But I think a very simple, attractive online shop with attractive products, very easy to navigate, looks good on mobile. I can buy it in a couple of clicks. I can add to cart. I can buy more than one. I can then stay up to date via newsletter or following you guys. And then, Trav, maybe you can just touch a little bit on content marketing, organic, largely to surround this.
Yeah, sure. Just to also add to what you were talking about with customer experience, Al, while you were speaking, and I'm just comparing my own use case as a garden owner at the moment. And I thought, like, man, it would be so great to easily choose more or less what I'm looking for, like indoor, outdoor, shady, sunny. I'm not sure if there are many other variables in that. You will know better than I. And I would love to get like a recommended bundle. So I would get like maybe some compost, 10 kind of plants that I can use. And, the bundle can even state like this is for a 1 by 1 square meter section or 3 by 3 kind of thing. And I would just, no frets, no hassles, just like to buy this bundle. It gets delivered to me and I can go ahead and start planting and not necessarily worry too much about breaking delicate flowers or how much, how little, so that could be something as well. From the content marketing, from the content marketing side, you're dealing with beautiful plants, so there's a lot you can do. I think also people would like to know, because there's, I think, a relatively small market that knows a ton about plants. Probably there's a few, but I think most of us, especially in the newer generation, we kind of grew up outside, but a lot of us grew up indoors behind a screen or, doing things like that. So there's a lack of knowledge of how to look after a plant. And it's basic stuff, but we don't generally know.
I think mine just died like last week,
Yes, you recognize a beautiful garden, you want a beautiful garden, but you don't have time or the energy to learn about it on your own. So you want to get that knowledge, but also I feel like in bite-sized chunks. Sort of what I mentioned to Allister is there's a huge trend at the moment of these 60-second videos that are going around. You can think of social media platforms like TikTok. Facebook's also doing it at the moment, and YouTube's also big on it.
Even shorter, you know what I mean? But yeah,
it's 60 seconds at the max, and even shorter, as Al says. And I'll try and find something to show you what I mean. But it's quite often I've seen a lot of recipes how to make food. That people are basically showing you how to make this meal in 60 seconds or less, and it's very like to the point, but it also looks quite nice. So an example would be like, if you have a shady spot in your garden and you don't know what to do, use this plant, water it 3 times a week, and make sure it has compost every other month. And then that's kind of like the gist of it. And then with the brand, contact us for more, or Al, that's where your marketing
and very unpolished, very raw and real. Just you go and do it in the garden. And like I think that content creation would be quite easy in a way for you. But that's how you are going to convince the market of this knowledge that you talked about. And that's where that huge value add. They feel they're buying into a brand and they're following you. And it's very natural for them to buy from you then. There's a trust. They know you know what you're talking about. They will know that the plants on your site are things they can trust. And I think, it's actually a really exciting product, because like no one's really doing it. I mean, Keith Kirsten was the hero back when I was young, and I think that's the only guy in my mind. Sorry, I need to take.
But it is. He was
John,
the only one. He and Margaret Roberts is the only two that actually went and
So yeah, and that's the older generation. Who's doing it? Who's talking in the language? Very simple. And don't lecture people, and they don't want to sit for 2 hours and like, so, like, it's like, oh wow, yeah, that's cool. Oh, that's a cool idea. So cool. And it's like, are you having people over? How about this for a little floral decoration, just using the plants in your garden? Sometimes you're not even going to be talking about stuff you would necessarily sell, but that feeling of help and value that you can give people through the content is really where you're going to build a brand and be different to any other online thing where they listed all the inventory and they just want to kind of push sales up front. So
yes, I understand. Okay, that's good. I've got a lot to work with. I've got a lot of homework to go and do. Just one other question that I've got. I am totally clueless when it comes to choosing a name.
Yes, good. So look, just something that's pretty helpful is there's different websites. One is GoDaddy. I use it actually. Go to GoDaddy. It's a domain. It's where you buy domain names, and you can just put in some stuff there. There's entire psychology to developing a name, and if you want to go a long route of doing that, but if you're thinking of the end user, go to a site like GoDaddy and put in plants for me and see what it throws out. I did it this morning just to kind of preempt this, and there's like stuff like, buyplants.co.za is still available, for example. If you want to just keep it very, if you think about it, a site like booking.com, it owns the market. It's booking.com. They didn't call it something else that you need to unpack and understand. And I think at the speed you want to launch this and you want to own this online space, I would definitely not call it like Mart-Marie's
plant sales.
Don't make it difficult. The plant.market is available. I checked it. So you get a lot of like .com and .co.za. That's olden days. Like you can get .green, .plant. So I looked, your current URL for your current thing's quite long. Actually, it's a nice site. We were just chatting about it before, and nice images, shows the nursery. But if you think of, where the market's at today, maybe it's like myplant.home, or, so go on a site like GoDaddy, play around with a few words, see what's available, and secure a domain, because that can, because it's an online business, your URL and your name almost become inseparable eventually.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good.
All right.
Thank you for your time. I really have a lot to go and think about. It was nice to have your professional minds making my buzz even more alive.
No, it's a really big opportunity, and it's cool. I think with the passion you have and kind of what you guys have done, I think you'll be able to put something together. But think I think niche, think a bit smaller. I think really offering that value through products people can't compete with. Is where you'll win, and you own that space, and that's how your story will build. Why, if it's clay pots, for example, then the story behind that, and that they can only be bought through you, and this is what makes them special, because they add extra nutrients to the soil and all these wonderful things that I have no clue about. But when you get to that level of loyalty and brand loyalty, and you're able to communicate that stuff, it's powerful. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Mart-Marie.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye. Thanks, Travis. Bye.